On today's episode of PhotoKitchen, I set up a thing, I set up another thing, and in between the setting up of said things, I managed to take a photo or two. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 99 of PhotoKitchen. I'm your humble host, MD Welch, and today we're coming to you from a photo studio that I've been occupying like an invading force for the past week. Just wrapping up our experience this week and starting to tear down, but I wanted to share with you the experience, the overall stuff that we've been doing, and also my thoughts on having a photo studio. See, I'm a location photographer. I work on location for my clients. I work on location for just the location side of it. I rarely get to work in a studio. That means a lot of the stuff that I've acquired over the years sits in storage a lot. I bring out the gear for the situation, but I don't get to experiment a lot with that gear. So having a photo studio, having this experience is critical to creativity. It allows me to get gear out that I don't use a lot. A good example of this is this 10 by 10 diffusion panel, which I have a video on. And I know I've discovered that a diffusion panel is a great way to light. Call me Christopher Columbus. I've discovered something new. But nevertheless, this has been a very eye-opening experience. It always is. I save money rather than going on some tropical vacation and having drinks with little umbrellas in them. I rent a studio space for a week or two and stretch my legs, get out, be creative. It allows me to work with friends of mine, colleagues that I collaborate with a lot, allows me to get into the studio, do different things, different types of lighting, different types of compositions. It really opens up the creativity. It also allows me to work with new people, people that I've never worked with before. And maybe those people, it's kind of like a job interview. Do I want to collaborate with them on bigger projects in the future? Would I hire them for jobs as models or makeup artists or any of those other types of things that come up when you're doing large scale productions? So the studio space offers me all of those opportunities. But rather getting into this whole thing and going into it deeper, I want to say something to you. You need to get into a photo studio space. If you're like me and you're working on location, or even if you're working in a home studio, getting into a large space is critical to help you grow as a photographer or a filmmaker. Yes, working on location is awesome. Yes, working at client space is critical for getting a certain type of job done. But at the end of the day, studio spaces offer you a controlled environment. It offers you a safe space to be creative. And it's great to have these items available to you. If you don't have the lighting gear, a lot of photo studios will have gear that you can rent as well. And by the way, when you rent a studio or use their gear, operate under the premise of leave things better than you found them. I have operated in photo studios where I've come in and spent half a day cleaning and straightening up a studio space because people think, it's a rental space. They got people to clean up for it and they just leave. Don't be that person. Be a good photographer, be a good filmmaker, be a better person when it comes to renting gear. Leave it better than you found it. But get a space, rent something. This particular studio space, which I use a lot, is not really a traditional studio space. There's no infinity wall, there's no cyc, there's nothing like that. You have a big old room with areas that you have to plug in for power, and they also have some props here. But this is something that is just could be a warehouse space, right? It could be a large office space if it came down to it. This studio space does offer safety. It's locked, it's alarmed, so I can leave my gear here overnight. I don't have to tear all this stuff down and set it back up. So that's what you're looking for in a studio space. It doesn't have to be a high-end, 3-walled cyc or something like that, cyclorama with the curved walls. You don't need to have all of that to really stretch your legs creatively. You just need a big old room. You need a big old room that's safe for you, safe for your gear. It has easy access to get stuff in and out. There's a big roller door behind here that I get stuff in. So think about that. Save your money as I do. Look out to studio spaces and ask them, are they interested in doing a bulk rate, a week long or 3 days or something like that? Get into that space, stretch your legs creatively, try new things. Maybe polish some skill sets, maybe fail. And then the beauty of being in a studio space is you can come in the next day and analyze where you maybe wish you had done something different and do that thing again the next day. It's a great way to grow. It's a great way to work in a controlled environment and be able to kind of set nice parameters and experiment, whether you're doing photography, as I've been doing all this week, or you're actually doing film work and you're doing any sort of recording. It's just a great place to work. And if you're a studio owner, this is a great opportunity to generate some revenue. Maybe there's some slow periods. You could reach out to some photographers you work with a lot and say, hey, listen, if you rent for like 3 days, 5 days, 2 weeks, I'll give you a great rate. You could occupy the space. It's completely safe. Everything's locked down for you. And also take advantage of slow times. Both photographers and photo studio owners, usually in the winter time, especially from Thanksgiving to mid-January, at least in my area for me, these spaces, these times are super slow. So maybe that's when you give yourself a break, save a little bit of cash, maybe don't get that new camera, I don't know. But you save that money and you get into a studio space. And if you're a studio owner, maybe you cut a better rate or a better deal to photographers. It's just a win-win for all parties involved. And again, it's a great way to stretch your legs creatively. And maybe, who knows, you're going to create some photos that really have some impact and photos that you might like. Hey, speaking of like, I hope you've liked this video. If so, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And if you have, thank you so much for your support. Please share this with anybody who's thinking about renting a studio, maybe who has a studio or a large space that could be used as a studio that they're willing to have somebody come in, be creative in. Share that with them. Maybe kind of gets the conversation going in your area, especially if you're in small areas where it's maybe studio spaces aren't very common. Maybe you could get something going, maybe a little bit of a collective, who knows? But until next time, I'm MD Welch wishing you all the best from this photo studio. Whee!